All right, everybody, welcome back into the WSAZ Now studio. This is another episode of WSAZ Sports Plus. My name is Joseph Payton. Huge news last week. If you listened to Keith Morehouse and I's episode of WSAZ Sports Plus, the NCAA, Shawnee State University, coming out making the announcement that they've been accepted as a provisional member of Division II, and that's going to begin this fall. A lot of big things coming for Shawnee State University athletics. They've been an NAIA school since the late 80s, making the jump now here at really the end of this academic calendar year, beginning of next one. So with that said, we had to get these guys in here. We've got Athletics Director Gerald Cadogan. We've got President Eric Braun. Thank you for making the drive up from Portsmouth, guys.
We appreciate the opportunity. We're thrilled to be here, and we're glad we didn't have to do the 5 a.m. fired up Friday.
I mean, you're more than welcome if you want.
We'll get you back on campus when we're ready to arrange that, yes.
A 10:15 start time here for us is much better on the sleep schedule.
Absolutely.
Isn't it? Right. Well, I appreciate you guys being here. Like I said, Keith and I spoke about this topic and how exciting it was for you all and I mean, our local athletes too, that whether they're there right now or at some point are going to explore an opportunity to play ball or play something at Shawnee State, how big of an announcement this is. And Keith and I had a lot of questions that we figured, hey, we need to throw at you two. So I'm glad that you all are here. Let's just start with how this thing starts. I don't know how you get the ball rolling on something like this. Is this something that's been years in the making? I'm going to throw that at both of you. Who can tell me where this thing started and when those discussions began?
Sure. Well, I'll take that one for starters. We, by the way, appreciate that you see this as big news. We certainly do. Big news for the campus and for the community. And yeah, this is really part of what we're calling a growth initiative for the university. It's been underway about 2.5 years. We've got a leadership team that is largely from the region. We're building that very intentionally and really making a move as an institution from being a more local institution, quite honestly, a service area of primarily 6 or 8 counties around Pike, Adams, Lawrence, Scioto, right here in the immediate region to a broader region. So in Ohio, we've moved our focus up 23. We now have a site where we're offering classes in Chillicothe. It's part of a Adena Medical Center complex. Just cut the ribbon on that about 2 weeks ago. And so we now have a 15-county territory really in south central Ohio, cementing in our place as the regional university. And we take that regional public, very seriously. We're here to serve the students of this region. We do a heck of a good job. We've got nationally ranked programs. And what we were finding with our athletics program was we're competing at a really high level. We've got multiple national championships. The NAIA framework's been great for us. It's a very player-focused, student-focused league, and that's important to us. We frankly just got to a point where, frankly, the level of competition, I think, opened up other opportunities and new doors for us. And as we looked at our footprint, we saw the ability to move into NCAA Division II as, frankly, one of the few schools in Southern Ohio that's doing that, and it allows us to get a foothold here in West Virginia as well. So it is part of a larger strategic move where athletics is aligning with the growth of the university overall. How we've gotten it going is a whole different question, and we're still trying to figure that out.
Right.
But great move, and I do want to say, what was really appealing about Division II is that student-athlete focus. I mean, take very seriously player support, community support. It, of course, is about academics first and what's your life going to look like after being a student-athlete. And that continues to be an important piece, of the university's mission.
This might feel like a pretty self-explanatory question, and maybe I'll start with you, Gerald. Why explore an opportunity like this? You wouldn't do it if you didn't feel like it was a vertical move for the university, for the athletics department, and your student athletes. What's the difference between being an NAIA school and a Division II school that makes this so appealing for your athletic department?
Yeah, a lot of the student athletes that we recruit are looking to compete on the biggest stage, and part of like President Braun said, our growth initiative and the expansion is our opportunity for our student athletes to compete at one of the highest levels and and grow. So that's primarily one of the big things. I know all of our student athletes on campus are very much excited. Our coaches' inboxes are filling up with new student athletes that are interested in coming to Shawnee State University and competing on this expanded stage. And the balance, life in the balance, making sure that you can win not only in competition but also in the classroom, and that's a focus for us as we move forward.
Yeah, are there additional scholarship opportunities for your athletes? I don't know how that framework works in at the NAIA level, if it's partial athletic or full just academic scholarships for your athletes that have earned a place on one of your teams. How does that look in the Division II realm? Are there further academic financial opportunities for your athletes?
There are. It's similar to NAIA,
Okay.
NAIA, I should say, more slowly. So, yeah, academic scholarships, athletic scholarships are both available. They were in NAIA and they are in Division II. Again, for us, that was a reason that it's a pretty smooth transition. But we will see expanded programs. We will be adding teams, and we will have expanded scholarships. And it's important to us also, frankly, that we look at rosters that focus on being competitive, but also balance local demand. We want local student athletes and regional student athletes to have opportunity. So I think one thing that's really been I won't say surprising to me, but it's kind of blown me away, is the level of competition at the Division II level. These are highly competitive athletes. They have a lot of options, and frankly, recruiting is going to be extremely competitive. So we're excited about that. Again, just raises the level of competition. But I tell you, these athletes can play. No doubt about it.
And obviously you wouldn't do it if you didn't feel like your teams were ready, whether it's an uphill climb for some may already be right there. I'm sure you're excited to see some new opponents on your schedule and some opponents that we're familiar with them because they're close by, but maybe they haven't been on your schedule before. Talk about being a new member of the Mountain East Conference and playing all these schools up and down West Virginia and into Pennsylvania and into the Panhandle there. Across the West Virginia border into Maryland. You guys are now the first Ohio school to be part of this conference. How cool is it to join this group?
Very much excited. There'll be a learning curve, and there'll be some adjustments that we'll navigate together. The Mountain East has been amazing thus far in terms of conversations, very, very much welcoming to us. And we're excited to compete. We're excited to lace up, to strap up, and to have those competitions. Again, there'll be some learning curves. And where we are right now, our men's basketball team in conference, where we are in the NAIA, we're undefeated in conference. So the level at which we're competing and performing at right now, I think we're at a high level, and we'll continue to do that and operate at a high level as we approach the Mountain East Conference this fall.
And of course, a lot of people know, maybe some don't, but we're adding some sports here over the next few years as well. Gerald, talk to me about what's going to be new this fall.
This fall, we are launching acrobatics and tumbling. We just hired a great two-time national championship in Chloe Minton. She's going to be leading the acrobatics and tumblings team, which is launching this fall. We already have some recruits that have been on campus and we've been on calls with. And then obviously the big fish that we are launching in the fall of 2028 is football. That's a sport I know a little something about. Very much excited to bring that to Scioto County and very much to our region. I think our community is excited about it. And again, the whole reason why we are transitioning from the NAIA to NCAA is the impact, the growth, and bringing football is something that I didn't think I'd be sitting in this role saying, in 28 we're going to be bringing football, but here we are, and very much excited to bring that to fruition.
Yeah. Well, since we've opened up the football box, tell me where we're at, because jumpstarting a football program, I'd imagine, is not easy. There are a lot of pieces that need to come in place, and that's a coaching staff, that's getting a roster filled out, that's facilities, resources, the equipment is expensive. Where are we at in jumpstarting the football program? I know that is a very open-ended question, but President Braun, I'll let you tackle that.
Wouldn't you like to know, Joseph? Wouldn't you like to know?
Yeah.
So fall 28 looked like we had a whole lot of runway when we first announced this, and that runway has gotten really, really short.
Yeah.
And I do want to mention, Gerald talked about the conference alignment. One of the reasons that the Mountain East Conference was a really good fit for us was the addition of football coming up. It's important for the conference to have 10 football teams, and that's been part of our negotiation with them. To your point, this conference is wide geographic footprint, really covers a large area. So if you're looking at recruiting talent and competing, it's a great area to be involved in, going all the way over to the D.C. Metro through Pittsburgh, now into Western Ohio. So we're optimistic about prospects for recruiting football. We have done some math on football and some of the other programs, and our ability to, frankly, not come in at the bottom, but be competitive when we come in has been really important. So here we are for football. The biggest move that we lined up last year was acquisition of a little over 20 acres down the Portsmouth Riverfront, the Spartan Stadium complex. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people are aware of the history of Spartan Stadium and the NFL heritage there. We're certainly going to be leaning into that, but there's 3 facilities actually on that site. One is Spartan Stadium, another is the Branch Rickey Park baseball facility, and then we're right now building, just broke ground a couple weeks ago on a brand new softball facility. So over the next 36 months, we will have developed a softball facility. We'll be renovating baseball, and then Spartan Stadium is the major renovation. Of course, we'll be making it football ready, turf lights, locker room facility, field house, the whole 9, but also a track facility. If you remember back from high school days being down there, full Olympic track. So we want to be able to offer the Olympic gamut to be competition ready for track, meaning the infield, all the extras, and there's some work to be done on that surface, but we're fundraising for that now, working with public and private partners, and that facility is going to be ready to go. Phase 1, we'll say, by spring of 26, ready for competition. I'm sorry, spring of 28, ready for football in fall of 28.
I know a lot of people are always curious about the playing surface there at Spartan Stadium. If you're not at liberty to tell me or things need to be worked out, you don't have to answer this, but are we putting turf down? Is that the thought that at historic Spartan Stadium? Maybe the old heads think, let's keep the original playing surface, but this is the future, and you got to have facilities that are up to par, right?
So we're working with a firm, MSA out of Cincinnati. They do the Reds. They do all levels of collegiate and pro sports. We're working with them now on some of those specific decisions. But yes, I appreciate your sentiment. Without answering that question directly, because we don't have the exact answer at this moment. The fact is, when I look at a facility, we're all very proud of our history, and we should be, and we want to tie to those roots, and that's a really important part of who we are and our heritage. At the same time, when we think about planning that facility, I don't want to sit on those fiberglass bleachers. I don't want to look at crumbling concrete, and so we are envisioning a facility, and this is how I like to say it, that will make our campus and our community and our region just as proud in 2027 as they were in 1927 when that thing was built and was a forward-looking facility then. So, yeah, there are going to be some decisions that we'll make that may not make everybody thrilled. But I will say we have a Center for Public History at the university that we're working with and through the Ohio Historical Connections involved, and we absolutely will be paying tribute to the stadium's historical context.
It just makes sense to have college football in Portsmouth, to me, with the NFL history there. And then your local schools with Portsmouth and Notre Dame that have played there. I guess Notre Dame is still there these days. I don't know what their plans are for this coming fall, but it just makes sense to have college football there. And talk about what this means for the local athletes, not just all the other sports, but football in particular, and I'm sure you guys are aware of it for sure, the recruiting aspect, trying to get recruited as a football player in Southern Ohio, you get overlooked sometimes. To have Shawnee State in your backyard, to have, and even Rio Grande now in your backyard as an opportunity, that has to be huge for local athletes, and I'm sure you all are proud to be able to offer that and have an opportunity for kids to play here at home in front of their family and in their home community. Does that feel pretty good, Gerald?
Yeah, our vision with these facilities is to make it a championship feel. We want all of the high school, middle school, those championships to be played at our facilities. A neutral site for football, track meets, basketball games. We want those championships to be played at Shawnee State University so they get that feel. They know what's there. And again, this whole move is a growth initiative for Shawnee State, but also this region and our community. So we don't want just our athletes being able to play under those lights in that historic stadium, but we want to create opportunities for the football playoff championships and track meets. Having the Shawnee State Track Invitational and those top winners in certain events or in any event really. Let's have a conversation with our coach. Hey, how would you like to practice and be a Bear? So it's more than just one game or one season, but it's more of a vision of where our community and this partnership with Shawnee State and the community having an impact for the youth. And then of course it's almost a full circle. It's not almost, it is a full circle moment for me. I played there, was able to get a scholarship and play in college and beyond, and now I have a key to the stadium. And so it's definitely a full circle moment, and wanted to be impactful. The memories I have there, for that to carry on with it being a championship arena and venue, gets me excited. I kind of get goosebumps thinking about those lights coming on, and Ironton playing Portsmouth for a regional championship. It's going to be a full circle moment for them as well.
Hallowed grounds there at Spartan Stadium, so I'm glad you guys are helping to breathe new life into it. And guys, the more I sit here and talk to you, the more I start to realize this is more than just a jump up in name and title from NAIA to D2. It's more than just a higher level of competition and different teams on your schedule. This is a jump up in so many different ways. The facilities, the plans you guys have to upgrade your facilities on campus, all of these things, the opportunities that you're wanting to increase for local athletes. Are these some of the boxes that the NCAA says you need to check in order for you to, make this jump? I would imagine that's the conversation. It's like, let's take inventory. What do you have? What can you do? Talk about those discussions with the NCAA and how it fits into this vision that you all are discussing.
That's a very interesting question, because I think we were expecting this process with the NCAA to be kind of like a test or an admissions exam, and it has been much more of a conversation. It started as a conversation with the Mountain East Conference, and I have to give hats off to Reed Amos, the commissioner there. Yes. He's got a vision to grow the conference, and he's got a vision for media and recruiting and promotion that really aligns well with what we're interested in doing and are part of this region of the conference. And the other schools too, frankly, as we were engaging both the conference and the NCAA, it's been a discussion about those greater mission and values that we're trying to accomplish, rather than, like I said, do you have XYZ facility? So we've appreciated the feedback, the advice, the suggestions, but we've never felt the pressure necessarily that you need to have this by this date. It's more, how can we, as a conference or a league, support where you're headed? And I have to tell you, as leadership that has pressure from a lot of different areas, whether they be financial or governance or legislative, whatever they are, I mean, it's been really nice to see the NCAA and the Mountain East Conference as a partner. It's been a lot. So, I mean, really, the conversations we've had have focused more around, why do you want to move to the Division II? Well, because we may have families who now support a student athlete going to college for that 2-year or 4-year degree who frankly didn't have that option before and may not have done that. Athletics really is a connector for our region. You know that. I mean, it's the center of gravity for communities. High school Friday night lights is still where it's at. And so, to be able to really extend a family's opportunity where they can improve their job prospects or their ability to contribute to their community and become productive citizens, that's really what this is all about. And the NCAA has been just tremendous in supporting our vision there.
So it doesn't sound like they said, oh, well, let's see if you can get this done and then we'll get back with you, right? It sounds like it's more of just, all right, this is your goal, this is your intention, let's get you there. So this announcement, it's not like it took you by surprise or anything, although I'm sure it felt great. Felt like getting an A on a test.
Oh, absolutely. You never know until you know. So.
Right. Yeah. Right. So that's good. Talk to me about this 2-year provisional period. For a lot of people, that may not sound like anything. What does that mean in terms of what your athletes can compete for? And, I mean, is there kind of a test process in that too? Like, I want to make sure people understand we're moving up to Division II. There's not an opportunity of, like, sliding back, correct? Am I reading that correctly?
I'll say correct on that.
Okay,
one. Yes, sir.
perfect. So what's this provisional period mean?
Right. Well, I'll let you take it. But I think the provisional period is more about aligning resources, kind of getting your ducks in a row so that the NCAA knows that you've done your homework and you're prepared, and it's testing out a new framework with a lot of new rules. So again, it's more of rowing together. Yeah, the expectation is not after 2 you're not going to make it.
Right.
It's more how do we make sure you have everything in place so that you can be a successful institution, which we feel like we're pretty well ahead of the game at this point now.
It just provisional sounds too close to probational,
Yeah.
which means like if you mess up, we're sending
It
you
is
back.
not probational.
It
Yes.
is, it is provisional for our student athletes. What that means is for the next 2 years. So we will be competing in the Mountain East Conference, like we have our schedules with soccer and volleyball and basketball. All of our varsity sports will be Division II, competing in the Mountain East Conference. We will be able to compete for a conference championship. We will not be, for the next 2 years, be able to compete for a national championship until we are a full member, and that will be after the 2-year provisional period.
Okay, so even if a team were to qualify for NCAA postseason play, the ceiling for the next 2 years is a conference title, which is great, and hopefully we nab a couple of those, right?
That's right. I do want to add a key word, though. It's not just provisional. It's also expedited.
Okay.
So we are the first school, as I understand it, in the nation to go directly from NAIA to NCAA Division II and be accepted in their expedited process, which means it's a 2-year provisional period instead of a 3-year provisional
So
period.
it's usually a 3 for most schools.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So-
pretty impressive.
Well, we appreciate the opportunity. I can tell you that.
Absolutely.
I want you guys to self-indulge a little bit here because you're Portsmouth guys, you're Scioto County guys. A lot of people probably thought, man, this would never happen. I mean, just having athletics at Shawnee State is fairly new in the grand scheme of things. You think about some schools have been playing football for 120 years or have had athletics for 120 years. Athletics at Shawnee State, pretty new because the school's pretty new. To jump up to Division II now in 2026, to have the intention of we're playing football in a couple of years. Did you ever think that you guys would be two of the people spearheading this thing? And I know it's not just you all, but for yourselves, for your community, how does it feel to be a part of something so big and so special, so impactful?
I'll let you take that one first.
Yeah, I would say stepping into this role as the director of athletics was an easy decision for me with great leadership. I can remember some conversation I have with President Braun, and he'd have an idea and I'd have an idea. It would be the same idea without us talking, and it's just amazing. I would equate working at Shawnee State University in my role under the leadership that we have as playing for one of the best coaches I've had. And with that, you're able to have the success that you're seeing right now. If you ask me 5 years ago, would I be in this chair right now speaking to you about Shawnee State being Division II and us bringing football? No, but if you had asked me about a year ago, after our conversations and knowing the pathway and how eager we are to have that impact not only for campus at Shawnee State University, but this community and our region, I would say here we are, and very much excited for the future of Shawnee State athletics and Shawnee State University, Portsmouth, Ohio, and where we are.
Yeah. Don't mind that thing beeping. It does that every so often. President Braun, what can you add to that? I'm sure it means a lot to you personally, and you take great pride in being a part of such a massive jump for the university.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, the job being president of Shawnee State is the absolute privilege of a lifetime, and I mean that. What I can tell you is we have tremendous talent in our region, and honestly, a move to expand athletics, it just makes so much sense. I feel like it's our obligation to do it. A move to football makes so much sense. It's our obligation to figure out how to do it. So, a lot of the moves that we're making at Shawnee State aren't necessarily brilliant inspiration so much as they are gathering feedback from the community, engaging community, talking to good people, hearing great ideas, and then figuring out how to make them happen. And I mean, to me, the sky's the limit for this region. We had a big announcement yesterday was made at the Piketon site up in north of Portsmouth with some economic development news that's going on there. We have a lot of things kind of popping in the region right now. We want to draw on that and be part of it. But I would just say, yeah, we're here to facilitate the good ideas that the region knows needs to move forward. And you said it earlier, it makes so much sense to have football in Portsmouth, Ohio, and we feel like it's a great opportunity, but also an obligation to make this good stuff happen.
Sure. Well, when you call it an obligation, you get the sense that you guys feel like we are stewards of this athletic department. You know, somebody at some point will come after you on you want to leave it in a better place, but while you're here, let's make it as great as humanly possible. You know, as opportunistic for as many people as humanly possible. So I certainly commend you guys for that. A couple more questions before I let you go. Number one, I see the orange Nike check on there. That's new, isn't it? Is that just going to be for football, or is that something we're going to implement, you know, athletics department wide, the color orange?
Perhaps the most controversial move that's been made
I like
on
it, man.
campus.
It's cool.
Absolutely. It's an accent color. Our colors are still navy, gray, and white. So that is not changing. But our athletes definitely get excited about having some accent colors.
Yeah.
So we have blue, we have a baby blue, and then we also have orange that are accent colors, and our teams are wearing them now. So our soccer team, basketball team, volleyball team are utilizing them now. It gets athletes excited when you hold up a jersey with an alternative color. It's just a way to get some momentum, especially like if you're in the midseason slump. You bring out those jerseys, and they've worked. It causes them to work a little harder and stay a little bit more focused. But it's just something to engage and get excitement about it.
Yeah, it's a good pop. I know you're a Penn State guy, but it kind of gives an Illinois vibe a little bit. You might hate that.
We won't get into that.
I'm an Ohio State guy, so
we won't get into that.
Yeah, we won't get into that either.
How about West Wheelersburg, Ironton?
How about
let's
that?
Go with that?
Yeah, we'll put all together. There's plenty of orange schools
Waverly,
around
yeah,
here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Last question for you guys, and maybe this is something we just don't know what we don't know yet because we're still in the process, but what do you anticipate maybe being the biggest challenge that's coming your way? I mean, NCAA athletics, it seems like every week something new, every month something new, so who knows where we'll be in 2 years when you start football or even this fall when we start the other sports. What do you anticipate maybe being the biggest challenge that you're capable of handling, but it's going to be something new?
I would say the unknowns. We're going, from NAIA to Division II in a new conference, and there's a lot of unknowns. Some not uncertainties, but recruiting, scheduling, essentially. But there's just some things we don't know yet.
Sure.
That we will know a year from now. And I think at times that can make you uneasy, but just knowing that we have a strong team and leadership within athletics. We have our new compliance, James Codwell, our associate AD, Tiffany Buckmaster, and other leadership that are in our department that will put our heads together and tackle things as they come. But I would say nothing super scary, more excitement than anything, but there are some intangibles of like the things we don't know yet.
Like I said, you just don't know until you get in it. You start working through those things, and it's not to say you're not capable or you wouldn't be making the jump.
Right.
So it's just an interesting thought experiment there. What's coming? Well, we don't know. No one knows where these things are going half the time. Anything that you can add to that, President Braun, from your end, the administrative side? Well, I mean, it could be finances. It could be anything.
Sure.
A challenge that could come as a result of this jump.
We like the framework of the NCAA. I mean, honestly, the compliance framework is well evolved. It gives you some really bright line rules. I think, again, for us, we were seeing an athletic department that was maturing and getting to the point where we wanted to take things to the next level. So a lot of the things that we might traditionally see as kind of headaches or concerns because they're new, we're kind of embracing as a framework that's positive for us, can allow us to move to a new level. And I would echo, of course, there are unknowns out there, but the level of community support, enthusiasm is just overwhelming, and it's hard to not get kind of blown away by the number of people who stand up and want to be part of this, whether that's financially or whether that is part of an advisory board. community partner sponsor. There's a lot of goodwill out there. So, I have shared with the board on many occasions, you're the most popular board in the history of the university when you announce football. Once we start losing football games, that's going to shift a little bit. So I think that transition period for our student athletes is what I think about. And for those who will lose a year or two potentially of postseason competition, those are things we don't want our student athletes to be impacted in a negative way. But again, I think most of the student athletes see this potential on the horizon. So it's all good at this point moving forward.
Anything else I should ask you guys? I always like to leave it open because sometimes I don't hit on all the things that you want to talk about. Anything you want to say about this process? Anyone that you think needs a shout out that obviously isn't here today but has been instrumental? I always just like to leave the floor open to my guests.
I would just like to, kind of close with saying thank you to the community and the support that we've seen, thus far. Our attendance at our basketball games, soccer games, volleyball games are up, just kind of with this news, and just very much thankful to the community and to the region for the support, and look forward to the continued support of our fans and, of all of our student athletes.
President Braun, anything more?
I would say, and I mean this, thanks to WSAZ 3 Sports. You've said many times this is a big deal, and we think it is. It's always nice to be validated,
sure.
And we very much feel part of your community. We hope you do part of ours, and we're looking forward to working with you for many years to come as we build this thing out.
Yeah, we'll stay in touch. I appreciate you guys coming in. I know it's an hour-long trip from Portsmouth. You got here safely. We've got to make sure we get you back there safely because they're going to need you these next few years as you make this transition. I'm excited for you guys. Really, I'm most excited for our local athletes for added opportunities there. I just think it's huge for them. Even if they're like in junior high now and they don't realize it's going to impact them, at some point it will. And I'm super excited for them. I will say, I'm excited to see the football uniforms. And once we unveil the helmet, man, if you could get us like a replica helmet for the studio, that'd be pretty killer.
We'll get you taken care of.
I know football helmets are expensive, so you don't have to get us one of those crazy Rydell Axioms or anything, but something that looks nice, we can put it on display.
Noted,
here.
my friend.
Yeah. We'll get you taken care of.
That's
sure.
fine. Just throw a decal on something for us.
Right.
But I appreciate you guys. Hang tight here for just a moment. I'll take this thing home. But Gerald Cadogan, Eric Braun, thank you so much for being here on WSAZ Sports Plus. All right, everyone. What a conversation, a robust conversation. I hope you learned a lot about where the athletic department is going there at Shawnee State University, where the university is going, period. There's clearly a vision here. I learned a lot just talking with these guys today and appreciate them coming in. Remember that if you are watching this episode live, it will be posted here very shortly on WSAZ.com and on the WSAZ app. All you have to do is go to the WSAZ Sports Plus tab. If you like this episode and you want to share it with somebody, all you got to do is share the links to those things. And the audio version will be uploaded to podcast platforms. So that's Spotify, that's Apple Podcasts, and it may go to some other places too. But I know for sure it certainly populates in those places. We'll also have this thing on YouTube. So this thing will be posted by the end of the day, and we'll stay in touch with these guys because big things are on the horizon for Shawnee State University. For now, this has been WSAZ Sports Plus. I am Joseph Payton. We'll see you next time.